Okay, so now when we're doing lab, it's very important for us to, let me turn this so that you're looking at it the right way. There you go. It's very important for us to discuss differences in measurement, okay? So let's look at mass. Before it was 95, after it was 44. So did this change? Yeah, like a lot. Okay, so we cut it in half and mass changed. So mass is what? Intensive or extensive? You fill that in. Volume, we started at 98.1. We went way down to 46.0. So did this change? Yes, quite a lot. So volume does change depending on how much you have. So does that make this intensive or extensive? You decide. Temperature. Now the temperature did change a little tiny bit, but not a lot, right? And I would attribute that to the fact that the hot plate was on and it probably warmed it up a little bit. So did the initial temperature change? Not really, not so much, okay? Yes, I'm aware that it changed by 0.7, but that's a small enough amount that we could attribute it to the change in room temperature just because the hot plate was on. All right, so we're gonna call that one a no. So the temperature did not change. So would we call that intensive or extensive? You decide. Boiling point, again, this is a measurement and measurements can vary slightly. So 99.8 and 100.3, those are within a pretty good margin of error. So I would say no, this didn't really change. It was pretty much the same spot for both of them, okay? So boiling point did not change. So would you call that intensive or extensive? All right, density. Ooh, look how close these numbers are. We did really good. 0.975 or 0.962. Really, really close numbers. They should be the same. Okay, so density doesn't change, not measurably anyway. There's always going to be a little difference. So is that going to be intensive or extensive? The color definitely didn't change. So does that make that intensive or extensive? All right, so let's go down here to the aluminum foil piece. We had 0.55 and 0.33. That definitely changed significantly. So would you call that intensive or extensive? You decide. Our length went from 12.41 to 9.89. That's a significant change. So yes, that changed. So would you call length intensive or extensive? You decide. The width went from 11.08 to 8.19. That's a significant change. So would you call that intensive or extensive? The volume went from 0.22 to 0.129, so almost half. All right, so that definitely significantly changed. So would you call that intensive or extensive? Okay, our area went from 137.5 to 81. That's a significant change. Density went from 2.5 to 2.5, stayed exactly the same. So would you call that intensive or extensive? Color stayed the same. So would you call that intensive or extensive? Luster, it was shiny no matter what, so that didn't change. So would you call that intensive or extensive?